Charles was greeted with shouts of "King" from Paris balconies as he and Queen Camilla received a rapturous welcome for the start of their 3-day state visit to France. The king beamed and waved at the adoring crowds as he walked through the streets of Paris with French President Emmanuel Macron before they exchanged gifts with one another and held talks at the Élysée Palace ahead of a lavish state dinner later this evening. Charles and Camilla arrived shortly before 2 p.m. on a private chartered flight from Farnborough, traveling on what is dubbed the Baby Voyager Airbus plane to Paris-Orly Airport, where they were officially welcomed by the French Prime Minister, Elisabeth Borne, on behalf of President Macron and the French government. They were also received by Foreign Secretary James Cleverly, the UK's ambassador to France Dame Mena Rawlings and the French ambassador to the UK, Hélène Tréau-Duchesne. Camilla was a pop of color in an elegant dusky pink wool crepe coat dress by Fiona Clare, and a pink beret-shaped hat by milliner Philip Tracy, which she held on to tightly due to blustery conditions as they walked along a red carpet, brushed to perfection earlier. The royals were then whisked off in the state Bentley to the Arc de Triomphe, where they were greeted by the President Macron, 45, and his wife Brigitte, 70, for a ceremony of remembrance and wreath-laying at the iconic monument. The president gave a small bow to the king and queen, while Brigitte Macron, more businesslike than Camilla in a navy jacket and short blue skirt with heels, gave Camilla a friendly kiss on each cheek. President Macron was then seen chuckling with the Queen as she repeatedly tried to keep her hat in place. President Macron and his wife, Ms. Macron, greeted their guests warmly, having posted a glowing video tribute to the British monarch, showing Charles in France over the decades, on their social media outlets earlier. It read, "You visited as a prince, you return as a king. Your Majesty, welcome." As the king and president laid the wreath as both nations' air forces conducted a magnificent flypast, soaring over the famous Parisian landmark. As part of the ceremony, Charles was invited by the president to symbolically light the monument's eternal flame, which burns in memory of those who died in the First and Second World Wars. The king will have a meeting with the president before attending the black tie event at the Palace of Versailles, where he and Queen Camilla will be joined by Sir Mick Jagger. A military band played the national anthems of Britain and France before His Majesty was escorted by the President to inspect the soldiers, consisting of the regimental band of the Garde Républicaine, the French Color Part and the Tri-Service Guard of Honor. Meanwhile, the Queen chatted enthusiastically with Madame Macron. After the Guard inspection, the King and President Macron made their way to the plateau, the centerpiece of the Arc de Triomphe, where they stopped at the tomb of the unknown soldier. Both men bowed in silence in front of the eternal flame under the war memorial, before together laying a wreath in tribute to those who perished in the First and Second World Wars. Nestled in the floral arrangement of white and red roses, the king placed a handwritten card with, "In everlasting remembrance," written in English and French. After the lighting, the bugle call aux morts, the French equivalent of the last post, meaning to the dead, was sounded and followed by a minute's silence. The British national anthem was followed by the French national anthem, La Marseillaise, as a stunning flypast of the Patrouille de France and the Red Arrows roared above the Champs-Élysées. The Ark was the location for the ceremonial arrival of Queen Elizabeth II for Her Majesty's final state visit to France in 2014.